This video is about the single mom drove to the city square and a rich stranger bought her coffee. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts and comments. The city square was alive with the chatter of morning commuters, the hum of car engines, and the distant laughter of children. Sarah Carter sat in her modest car, the sun peeking through the clouds, casting a soft glow over her worn leather steering wheel. Today was one of those mornings when the weight of her responsibilities felt heavier than usual. With her daughter, Lily, safely at school, she had stolen a moment for herself, just a quick coffee before tackling the day. Stepping out of the car, Sarah pulled her light brown hair into a loose bun, a few rebellious strands dancing across her face in the cool morning breeze. She wore a faded blue sweater, slightly oversized, and a pair of jeans that had seen better days. The outfit was cozy, a stark contrast to the bustle around her, where men and women in sharp suits hurried past, clutches of briefcases in hand. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloped her as she entered the small cafe nestled in the corner of the square. The bell above the door tinkled, and she was greeted by the familiar sight of baristas busy at work, the steam rising from the espresso machine. It was a comforting routine, a ritual she cherished amidst the chaos of her single motherhood. "Hey, Sarah," called out Mia. The barista with bright pink hair pulled into a messy bun. "The usual?" "Yeah, please," Sarah replied, her smile brightening at the sight of her friend. "I could use an extra shot today." Mia nodded, her hands dancing over the machine. "You're not alone in that. The morning rush is brutal." She handed Sarah the steaming cup just as the cafe door swung open. In walked a tall figure, his presence commanding immediate attention. He wore a tailored charcoal suit, the fabric catching the light just right. His hair was dark and impeccably styled, and when he glanced around the cafe, those striking blue eyes landed on Sarah for a brief moment. There was an intensity there that made her heart skip a beat, but she quickly averted her gaze, focusing back on Mia. "Looks like someone just walked out of a magazine," Mia whispered, barely containing her excitement. "Right," Sarah replied, trying to sound nonchalant. "But I doubt he's here for coffee. Maybe he's just trying to blend in with us common folks," Mia teased, her grin widening. Just then, the stranger approached the counter, and as he spoke, his voice was smooth, deep, and rich, like dark chocolate melting on the tongue. "I'll have what she's having," he said, nodding towards Sarah as if he had been watching her all along. Sarah felt her cheeks flush as she took a step back, a mix of surprise and embarrassment flooding her. Here was this strikingly handsome man, and he was ordering the same coffee she loved. A mixture of intrigue and anxiety churned in her stomach. Mia's eyes sparkled with mischief as she hopped to prepare his order. "What's your name?" she asked, glancing between the two of them. "Ethan," he replied, offering a charming smile. The kind of smile that could easily dazzle anyone. "Nice to meet you, Ethan. I'm Mia, and this is Sarah," she interjected, her voice barely louder than a whisper. "Sarah." He turned his gaze toward her, and this time, the intensity of his stare felt like a warm embrace. "Nice to meet you. You come here often?" Yeah. "Most mornings?" she managed, feeling her pulse quicken under his gaze. "It's my little escape." "I can see why," he said, glancing around the cozy cafe. "There's a certain charm to places like this, don't you think?" Before she could answer, Mia slid over his coffee. A perfectly crafted cappuccino, the froth artfully shaped into a delicate leaf. "Here you go, one cappuccino just for you." "Thanks," Ethan said, taking the cup with an air of gratitude. He shifted his attention back to Sarah. "What do you recommend?" "The mocha is my favorite," she said, feeling a little bolder now. "It's rich and sweet, kind of like a hug in a cup." "I'll take that next time," he said, his smile widening, and Sarah felt her heart race again. "You know, I can't help but notice how busy this place gets. Do you ever find time to sit and enjoy your coffee?" "I usually have to rush back," she admitted, looking down at her phone. "You know, single mom duties and all that." Single mom? He echoed, his tone shifting slightly, the curiosity evident in his expression. That's impressive. It must be a challenge. Yes, it has its moments, Sarah replied, her gaze drifting to the window where a group of children ran past, laughter filling the air. But it's also rewarding. I can only imagine, Ethan said, his eyes softening. Do you ever get a break? Not really, she admitted, a hint of vulnerability creeping into her voice. But I try to make the most of the little moments. Like this one, for instance. Ethan tilted his head, his interest piqued. So, how do you find that balance between being a mom and taking care of yourself? It's complicated, Sarah said, her mind racing. I want to be there for Lily, but sometimes I forget to take care of myself in the process. I get that, he said, his expression earnest. Self-care is important, yet so easy to overlook. It's hard to prioritize yourself when you have someone else depending on you. The moment hung between them, a shared understanding blossoming in the air. Just then, Mia clinked her hands on the counter, breaking the spell. Okay, you two, this isn't a therapy session. You both need your coffee and to get on with your day. Sarah laughed, the tension dissipating like steam from her mug. Right. I should get going, actually. Ethan stepped closer, leaning slightly on the counter. Before you go, can I ask for your number? I'd love to continue this conversation sometime. Her heart raced at the unexpected request. Was this just a whim, or did he genuinely want to get to know her? I'm not really sure if I can, she stammered, biting her lip. Totally understand, he said, and for a moment disappointment flashed across his face. But you change your mind, I'll be around. Just look for me here. Okay, she replied, feeling a mix of hope and uncertainty. Thanks for the coffee idea, by the way. Thank you for the recommendation, he responded, their gazes locking for a moment longer than necessary, a spark of chemistry igniting between them. As Sarah stepped out of the cafe, the morning air felt different, charged with the energy of a chance encounter. She leaned against her car, taking a deep breath. Did she just let an opportunity slip away, or was this the universe nudging her in a new direction? With thoughts swirling in her head, she settled into the driver's seat, cradling her coffee as the warmth seeped into her hands. The city square was alive with possibility, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a flicker of excitement. Perhaps, just perhaps, this was the beginning of something unexpected. Sarah's heart fluttered as she drove away from the city square. The encounter with Ethan felt surreal. It was a moment that stirred something within her, a yearning that had lain dormant for years. She pulled her car into the school parking lot, watching as children streamed out of the building, their laughter ringing in the air like sweet music. Mom! Lily's voice broke through her reverie, and Sarah's heart swelled as she spotted her daughter, swinging her backpack from side to side, her blonde curls bouncing with each step. Hey, sweet pea, Sarah called, stepping out of the car to embrace her. The warmth of Lily's small body against her, the innocent joy radiating from her, made all of Sarah's worries fade, if only temporarily. Can we go to the park today? Lily asked, her blue eyes sparkling. I want to try out the new swings. Of course we can do that, Sarah replied, her heart lightening even more. But we should grab a quick snack first. How about I make you your favorite peanut butter and jelly? Yes! Lily clapped her hands, her excitement infectious. And can we bring the dog? Sure, let's get Max. The two of them hurried home, Lily chattering about her day, unaware that her mother was still reeling from her encounter with Ethan. Sarah listened intently, nodding at the right moments, but part of her mind lingered on the cafe, that captivating smile, and the way Ethan had looked at her, as if she were the only person in the room. As they entered their small kitchen, Sarah's heart warmed at the familiar sight of the sunlight streaming through the window, illuminating the clutter of toys and half-finished homework spread across the table. It was chaotic, but it was home. After preparing the sandwiches, they took Max for a walk to the nearby park. The crisp air filled with laughter, the scent of autumn leaves, and the distant sounds of children playing wrapped around Sarah like a comforting blanket. She watched Lily run ahead, her joy uncontainable, and it reminded Sarah of her own childhood, the innocence that seemed so far away now. "Watch this, Mom," Lily shouted, climbing onto the swing set, her legs pumping with enthusiasm. Sarah smiled, her heart filling with pride. "Higher!" she encouraged, her voice ringing above the chatter of other parents. As Sarah pushed her daughter higher, her thoughts drifted back to Ethan. She couldn't shake the wonder of him, his effortless charm, the way he had genuinely listened to her. She wondered what it would be like to share a moment beyond just coffee. Would he think of her as just another single mom, or was there something more? "Mom, look!" Lily squealed, her voice breaking through Sarah's daydreams. "I'm flying," Sarah chuckled, her eyes sparkling with joy. "You're soaring, honey. Just make sure you come down with both feet on the ground." Lily laughed, her carefree spirit infectious. And for a moment, Sarah felt the weight of the world lift. They spent the afternoon at the park, playing, laughing, and sharing stories. Yet, even in these moments of joy, the thought of Ethan lingered in the back of her mind. Later that evening after dinner, as the last light of the day faded, Sarah sat in her living room, a steaming cup of tea cradled between her hands. She flipped through her phone, hesitating as she contemplated texting Mia for advice. Just then, her phone buzzed, the screen lighting up with a message from Mia. "Hey, did you meet Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome today? I want details." Sarah chuckled softly, her heart fluttering at the memory of Ethan. She hesitated, then typed back, "He did order the same coffee as me. We talked." Mia responded almost instantly. "Talked? That's it? Girl, you need to call him." "Life is too short for what-ifs." Sarah let out a soft sigh, aware of the truth in Mia's words. "It's complicated. I'm a single mom, and I haven't dated in years. What if he's just a fling?" Mia replied with a simple, "And what if he's not? You'll never know unless you take the leap." As she stared at her phone, Sarah's mind danced with possibilities. The thought of seeing Ethan again sent a thrill of nervous energy through her. What if he was genuinely interested? What if they shared more than just a fleeting encounter? Filled with a newfound determination, she typed back, "Okay, I'll think about it." With resolve solidifying in her heart, she decided to return to the cafe the next morning, hoping to see him again. As dawn broke, Sarah meticulously selected her outfit, wanting to feel confident yet comfortable. She settled on a fitted green sweater that brought out the color of her eyes and a pair of dark jeans that hugged her curves just right. It was a simple look, but she felt good in it. A small expression of self-care that was much needed. Lily, still half asleep, watched her mother from the living room couch with a curious expression. "Mom, are you going somewhere special?" "Just for coffee, honey," Sarah replied, tucking her hair behind her ear. "But I'll be back in time for your school drop-off, don't worry." "Okay, just be careful," Lily said, her eyes sparkling with concern, her innocence a reminder of the world that awaited her. As Sarah made her way to the cafe, her heart raced with both anticipation and anxiety. What if Ethan wasn't there? Or worse, what if he didn't remember her? 1,000 thoughts ran through her mind, each one more daunting than the last. When she entered the cafe, the familiar warmth enveloped her, and she caught sight of Mia behind the counter, a mischievous smile already on her face. "Look who it is! You look great!" "Thanks, Mia," Sarah replied, feeling a blush creep up her cheeks. She moved to the counter, her eyes scanning the room for Ethan. Just then, Mia leaned in, her voice low and conspiratorial. "He's at the corner table. He's been here for a while, looking like a lost puppy." Sarah's heart raced again, trepidation and excitement warring within her. She took a deep breath, steeling herself to approach him. As she crossed the room, she noticed how engrossed he appeared in a book, his brow furrowed in concentration. The sight made her smile. He was handsome, but there was a depth to him that drew her in. "Hey," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper as she reached his table. Ethan looked up, his blue eyes lighting up with surprise and warmth as they met hers. "Sarah, you came back." "I did," she replied, her heart fluttering at the smile that broke across his face. "I thought I'd see if my coffee recommendation worked for you." "Absolutely. Best mocha I've ever had," he said, closing his book and leaning back in his chair. "I was hoping you'd return so we could continue our conversation." The warmth in his voice sent a rush of excitement through her. "I guess I couldn't resist the charm of this place, or the company," she said, a playful smile dancing on her lips. Ethan leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table, his gaze fixed intently on her. "So, tell me more about this balance you're trying to find between being a mom and being, well, you." Zara shifted slightly, her heart racing at his genuine interest. "It's a constant juggling act," she admitted. "I want to be the best mother for Lily, but I also have my own dreams and desires." "What are those dreams?" he asked, his tone inviting her to share more. She hesitated for a moment, her pulse quickening. "I used to love painting," she confessed. "But between work and taking care of Lily, I haven't picked up a brush in years." "Why not?" he prompted gently, his gaze unwavering. "I guess I fell into the trap of thinking I didn't have time for myself," she admitted, her vulnerability seeping through. "But something about our conversation yesterday made me think it's important to nurture those passions." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "Absolutely. Life is too fleeting to ignore what makes us happy. What if we made a pact? We both prioritize ourselves and the things we love." "Deal," Sarah said, a smile playing on her lips, her heart soaring at the thought of having someone else to share her journey with. Their conversation flowed easily, the chemistry palpable as they exchanged stories, laughter, and light flirtation. Each shared smile built a bridge that connected them deeper, revealing layers of their personalities as they spoke about their hopes, fears, and what it meant to be a parent. As the cafe filled with the morning rush, Sarah felt a spark of something more, a connection that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. With each passing minute, the urgency to know more about Ethan grew, and she found herself drawn to him in ways she hadn't anticipated. "Would you like to grab dinner with me tomorrow night?" Ethan asked suddenly, his tone hopeful yet steady. "Dinner?" Zara's voice wavered, her heart racing. "Are you sure? What about your busy schedule?" "I can make time for someone who intrigues me," he replied, a teasing GL. Sarah felt her heart quicken at Ethan's invitation, a mixture of excitement and hesitation swirling within her. "Dinner. You are." The very concept felt electrifying yet daunting. She hadn't been on a proper date since her life had transformed into a whirlwind of motherhood and daily responsibilities. "Are you sure that's a good idea?" she asked, biting her lower lip, her gaze flickering away from him for just a moment. "What if I can't find a sitter for Lily?" "Then I'll help you find one," Ethan replied, his voice smooth and teasing. "I have a few connections, but I think Lily will be okay for one evening with a trusted sitter, right? You deserve a night out." His earnest expression pulled at her heartstrings, reminding her again of the importance of balancing her life. She could feel the weight of her responsibilities pushing down on her, yet the allure of stepping outside her comfort zone beckoned her forward. "I haven't seen Lily's favorite babysitter in months," she confessed, her voice a whisper now. "I could reach out, but what if she's too busy?" Ethan leaned forward, resting a hand over hers on the table, the warmth of his touch sending a shiver up her spine. "If it's meant to be, it will work out. Just give it a shot. Who knows? You might end up having a great time." She couldn't help but smile at his optimism. "You really think so?" "I know so." His confidence was infectious, and for the first time in a long while, Sarah found herself wanting to believe that she could step away from her daily routine and embrace something new. "Okay, I'll think about it," she said, biting back a smile as she met his gaze. "But no guarantees." Ethan chuckled softly, his blue eyes sparkling with mischief. "Fair enough. But if it helps, I promise to make it worth your while." The air between them sparkled with unspoken chemistry, a connection deeper than either had anticipated. Just then, Mia appeared at their table, placing a fresh cup of coffee in front of Sarah before looking at Ethan with a teasing expression. "So what's the verdict? Are we planning a wedding or just a dinner date?" Sarah laughed, the tension from before dissipating as Maya's playful attitude lightened the mood. "Just a dinner date for now," she replied, casting a sidelong glance at Ethan. "Now that's what I like to hear," Mia said, beaming with excitement. "Just remember to keep it casual. No need to overwhelm yourself." Ethan's gaze remained fixed on Sarah, a smile still dancing on his lips. "I promise to keep it casual. We'll start slow." "Good," Sarah said, her heart racing at the prospect. "I appreciate that." Mia winked at Sarah before retreating to the counter, leaving the two of them to resume their conversation. "So," Ethan said, leaning back slightly, "if you could pick any restaurant for dinner, where would you want to go?" Sarah tapped her fingers on the table, her thoughts racing. "There's this amazing little Italian place just a few blocks from here. They have the best pasta and tiramisu." "Sounds perfect," he said, an approving nod accompanying his words. "I'll make a reservation. How does tomorrow sound?" "Tomorrow," she echoed, her pulse quickening again as the reality of it settled in. That's fast, isn't it?" "Sometimes you have to take the plunge," he replied, leaning closer, his voice dropping to a more intimate tone. "Life is too short to hesitate." Her breath caught in her throat, and for a moment she felt the weight of his words echoing through her. Was she really ready to dive back into the world of dating? The last few years had revolved around her daughter, and stepping outside her comfort zone felt exhilarating yet terrifying. "Okay, let's do it," she said finally, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and fear. "Tomorrow it is." "Great." Ethan's enthusiasm was palpable, and a broad smile spread across his face, igniting a warmth in her chest. "What time?" "Let's say 6. I can pick Lily up from school and have a little time to get ready." "Perfect," he said, his voice filled with genuine delight. "I'm looking forward to it, Sarah." They spent the next few minutes discussing their favorite foods and places to visit around the city. With every shared laugh, Sarah felt the walls she had built around her heart begin to crumble, revealing a part of herself that had been dormant for far too long. "Have you lived here long?" she asked, genuinely curious. "You seem to know the area pretty well." "I moved here a couple of years ago for work, but I'm still discovering new spots," he replied. "What about you? Have you lived here your whole life?" "Pretty much," she said, a hint of nostalgia creeping into her voice. "It's home, you know. But sometimes I feel like I need to explore beyond these familiar streets." "Then let's make that happen," Ethan said, his tone serious yet inviting. "We can discover new places together." The idea sent an exhilarating thrill through her. The possibility of sharing new experiences ignited a spark of hope within her. Could this be the beginning of something special? As they wrapped up their conversation, Sarah glanced at the clock, realizing how much time had flown by. "I should get going before I end up late picking up Lily," she said reluctantly, a part of her wishing they could stay wrapped in their bubble of conversation just a little longer. "Of course," Ethan replied, rising from his seat. "Let me walk you to your car." "That's not necessary," she protested, but a part of her felt drawn to the idea of being close to him just a bit longer. "Just let me," he insisted with a gentle smile, and Sarah found herself nodding in agreement. They walked side by side, the evening air crisp and refreshing against her skin. The streetlights began to flicker on, casting a golden glow over the city square. Sarah stole glances at Ethan, his profile sharp against the backdrop of the dusky sky, and her heart raced at the thought of how easily they had connected. "So, what's your favorite thing about being a mom?" Ethan asked as they reached her car, turning to face her. Her heart softened at the question. "It's hard to pick just one," she mused. "Seeing Lily grow every day brings me so much joy. But I think the little moments, the laughter, the stories, those are what I cherish the most." Ethan nodded, his gaze steady and sincere. You clearly care deeply for her. That's a beautiful thing. Thanks, Sarah said, a warmth blooming in her chest. It's a challenge, but worth every moment. As she opened her car door, Ethan stepped closer, an unexpected intensity radiating from him. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, he said softly, his gaze searching hers. Me too, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, the tension between them palpable in the air. It feels like a leap into the unknown. Sometimes the unknown brings the best adventures, he said, a teasing smile playing on his lips. She chuckled lightly, a flutter of nerves wheeling in her stomach. I can certainly use some adventure in my life. With a lingering glance, she climbed into her car, and Ethan leaned against the doorframe for a moment. I'll text you the details later. Don't forget to call the babysitter. Right, she replied, grinning as she started the engine. See you tomorrow, Ethan. See you, Sarah, he replied, his smile lingering like an echo in her mind as she drove away from the city square, the thrill of the unexpected date bubbling in her chest. As she navigated her way through the familiar streets, a sense of excitement surged through her veins. Tomorrow would be different, a new chapter waiting to unfold. For the first time in a long while, Sarah felt alive, the potential for joy swirling around her like a vibrant tapestry woven from their conversation, laughter, and the promise of what was to come. With her heart buoyant and her spirit ignited, she knew that whatever lay ahead was worth the risk. Tomorrow, she would step into the unknown, and for the first time in years, she was ready to embrace it. As the sun sank lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the city, Sarah found herself restless in her small, cozy kitchen. The familiar sound of pots clanking and the scent of pasta boiling filled the room, but her mind was elsewhere. Tomorrow loomed like a bright star, promising an adventure she hadn't dared to contemplate in years. She glanced at the clock on the wall, the hands ticking away with an almost mocking precision. Dinner's almost ready, sweet pea, she called out, hoping to draw her daughter back from the living room. Okay, Mom. Lily's voice rang back, filled with the innocent enthusiasm that only a child could muster. Sarah couldn't help but smile. It was moments like these, filled with laughter and love, that made all the sleepless nights worth it. As she drained the pasta, her thoughts drifted back to Ethan, his easy laughter, the way he listened with genuine interest, the warmth of his gaze. A shiver of excitement coursed through her. What if he was the escape she had been yearning for? What if he was someone who could understand her journey, the delicate balancing act of motherhood and personal desires? Mom. Lily's voice broke through her reverie again, pulling her back to reality. Dinner's ready. Just a minute. Sarah finished plating the steaming pasta, adding a sprinkle of herbs for color. The simple meal felt special tonight, a small celebration of the day's unexpected promise. Lily bounded into the kitchen, her blonde curls bouncing with every step. It smells amazing, she exclaimed, her eyes wide with delight. Can I have extra cheese? Of course, my little cheese monster. Sarah laughed, serving a generous helping onto Lily's plate. As they sat down to eat, the chatter flowed easily. Stories from school, funny interactions with friends, and Lily's latest artistic creations. Mom, guess what? We're having a class project on what we want to be when we grow up, Lily said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. I want to be an artist. Sarah's heart swelled with pride. An artist. That's wonderful, honey. You've got such a talent for drawing, she said, recalling the countless colorful scribbles that adorned their refrigerator. If you're an artist and I want to be a famous painter, like hanging in museums and everything, Lily declared, her ambition filling the air. I believe you can do it, Sarah replied, her heart buoyant. But remember, you need to work hard and practice, just like anything else in life. Lily nodded seriously, her mouth full of pasta. I will, and you'll help me, right? Always, Sarah said, her smile faltering slightly as the thought of her own dreams popped into her mind. Dreams of painting, of finding that lost part of herself. She had put so much on hold, and for what? After dinner, Sarah helped Lily with her homework, the feeling of warmth wrapping around them like a protective cocoon. But as the evening darkened, the reality of her upcoming date began to settle in, tinged with a mix of excitement and anxiety. "Okay, Miss Artist, time for bed," Sarah said as the clock struck 8. "You need your beauty sleep. Can I have a story first?" Lily pleaded, her blue eyes wide with hope. "Just one," Sarah replied, leading her to the small bedroom filled with toys and artwork. She settled onto the bed with her daughter, a familiar ritual that soothed both of them. As Sarah read, her mind wandered back to Ethan. Where would they go tomorrow? What if they had nothing to talk about? The thought made her stomach churn, but she quickly pushed it aside, choosing instead to focus on the soft giggles escaping Lily's lips. After the story, Sarah kissed her daughter goodnight, watching as Lily's eyelids fluttered closed. In the dim light, Sarah couldn't help but feel a mix of longing and an aching nostalgia. She tiptoed out of the room, closing the door softly, her heart heavy yet hopeful. Later that night, Sarah sat at the dining table, her laptop open in front of her. She had promised herself she would look into potential babysitters for tomorrow, but her fingers hovered above the keyboard. What if Lily's favorite sitter was booked? What if she couldn't find anyone in time? Taking a deep breath, she opened her contacts and tapped the name of Sarah, her old college friend who'd been working part-time as a babysitter. They had shared dreams back then of art exhibitions and gallery openings. "Hey, Sarah! Long time no talk," a cheerful voice greeted her on the other end when she made the call. "It's been too long. I hope you're doing well," Sarah replied, her heart racing with anticipation. "I'm great. How about you? Still painting?" "Not so much lately," Sarah admitted, her voice trailing off. "But I have a date tomorrow, and I need a sitter for Lily." "A date? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'd love to watch Lily. I'm free all evening," Sarah's friend said, her enthusiasm palpable. "Really? That would be so helpful." Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you. Of course. Text me the details and I'll be there," her friend replied. And as they hung up, Sarah felt a weight lift off her shoulders. With everything falling into place, she decided to prepare her outfit for the date. She rummaged through her closet, pulling out a few options, dresses that hadn't seen the light of day in ages, blouses she had forgotten about. She finally settled on a fitted black dress that hugged her curves in all the right places. It had been a gift from her late grandmother, a reminder of the woman who had always encouraged her to be bold. The next morning, Sarah awoke with a mix of excitement and nerves bubbling in her stomach. As she prepared Lily's breakfast, she couldn't shake the feeling that today would be significant, an awakening of sorts. Lily, still half asleep, shuffled into the kitchen and plopped down at the table. "You look happy, Mom. Are you going to see that nice man again?" Sarah chuckled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Actually, yes. We're going on a dinner date tonight." "Wow, like a princess and a prince?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with wonder. "Something like that," Sarah said, her cheeks warming at the thought of Ethan. "But remember, it's just dinner. Nothing too dramatic." "Okay, but what if he becomes your prince?" Lily pressed, her innocent curiosity tugging at Sarah's heartstrings. "Then we'll see what happens," Sarah replied as she served Lily a plate of pancakes, her heart fluttering at the thought. After breakfast, they spent some time at the park, where Lily dashed around, her laughter echoing in the crisp morning air. As the sun began to set, Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. She found herself stealing glances at the clock on her phone, counting down the hours until her date with Ethan. Later, as she prepared for the evening, she applied subtle makeup, enhancing her features without losing her natural beauty. She slipped into the black dress, fastening it with a sense of finality. She looked in the mirror and took a deep breath. "Okay, Sarah, you've got this," she told her reflection, her heart pounding with uncertainty. She was ready to embrace whatever the night had in store for her. Just before 6, Sarah heard a knock at the door. Her friend Sarah arrived. An excited grin plastered across her face. "I can't believe you're finally doing this," she exclaimed, hugging Sarah tightly. "Thanks for doing this on such short notice," Sarah said, feeling a wave of gratitude. "It's my pleasure. Lily and I will have a blast." "You go enjoy your evening," her friend said, ushering Lily into the living room, where toys were strewn about. "Mom, don't be late," Lily called out, her face beaming with excitement. "I won't. Have fun," Zara called back, her heart swelling as she stepped out the door. As she drove towards the Italian restaurant, anticipation surged through her. Would Ethan be just as charming tonight? Would the conversation flow just as easily? Arriving at the restaurant, Sarah took a moment to collect herself before stepping inside. The ambience was intimate, with low lighting and the sound of soft Italian music playing in the background. She spotted Ethan seated at a cozy table for two, his gaze fixed on the menu, a relaxed smile playing on his lips. "Hey there," he said as she approached, his eyes lighting up when he saw her. "You look amazing." "Thank you," Sarah replied, her heart racing at the sincerity in his voice. She slid into the chair opposite him, feeling the electric chemistry between them. "Did you find a sitter?" Ethan asked, his voice warm and inviting. "I did. My friend Sarah is watching Lily," she said, her heart swelling with relief. "It all worked out." "Perfect," he replied, his smile deepening. "Tonight is for us. No distractions." Their conversation flowed seamlessly as they perused the menu, discussing their favorite dishes and the quirks of the restaurant. The tension between them built subtly, a mix of shared laughter and lingering geography.